Hello everyone, welcome to my channel C.S.E.Pathshala. We were studying about Python for machine learning and data science, and in this tutorial we will continue our topic with extracting from data frames. So in the previous tutorial we did study about the extraction from the data frames, and in this tutorial we will continue to perform the extraction on the basis of various other methods. So I request you to please go through my previous tutorial before studying. So let's begin. Slashing based on row and column numbers. If you wish to perform the extraction based upon the specific rows and the columns in a data frame, we need to use Loc Indexer. Okay, so let's consider a code in which we will extract the row numbers from 2 to 3 and the column numbers from 1 to 3. Okay, so here it is. Considering this code and implement it on Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so import pandas as PD, import numpy as NP. We are going to include both these modules or the libraries. Okay, pandas is for the data frames, numpy is for the arrays. Okay, and then we are declaring a variable df that is equal to pd.dataframe. That means we will create a data frame with the help of this method. Okay, and obviously pd is an alias. Similarly, np is also an alias. So instead of pandas and numpy, we will use pd and np. We have already studied all these things in the previous tutorial. Then we are giving here as an argument np.random.rndn10,4. That clearly means we are accessing a random module and there is a random method in it in which we are creating a data frame of 10 rows and 4 columns, and each entry is filled with a random distribution. Okay, then separated by comma we are declaring columns in the form of a list A, B, C, D. That means we are naming the columns as A, B, C and D. Then we are printing the value of data frame. Then we are printing the value of only the rows from 2 to 4, that means including 2 and excluding 4, and the columns from 1 to 4. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. So we got the output as this is the complete data frame, and this is what we need. That means row 2 and 3 is here. Okay, and if we talk about the columns, we are getting B, C and D. That means we are having column number 1, okay, then 2 and 3. Okay, if I just say that the column starts from the 0th index, okay, so this is 0th column, this is 1th column, this is 2nd column, this is 3rd column. Oh, alright, so again we are also ignoring the last part, that is 4. Okay, now we can also extract specific rows and columns using a list. So how we can perform this function? Let's consider one more code, okay, and implement it here. Fine. Again, the code is all same, only we need to check the last line. Here it is, print df.iloc2413. So in the previous code, we are taking the range of the rows and the columns because we are using the colon here. Okay, now here it has been told that if you want to print the specific row and the column, for example, here the row is 2 and 4 and the column is 1 and 3. Okay, so what shall be the output? That means we will be printing row 2, row 4 and column 1 and column 3. So let's save this code and run this code. So here it is. This is the complete data frame, and here this is row 2. Okay, so here it is row 2, the part of this row 2. Okay, and in the row 2 we need to print the column 1. Okay, so the column 1 for the row 2 is this value, and the column 3 for the row 2 is this value. Okay, similarly for row 4 the value of column 1 is this value and the value of column 3 is this value. Okay, so here is the output. So in the preceding statement it prints the row 2 and 4 and the column 1 and 3. So if we just want to summarize all the things, we can extract a range of rows using slicing, and we can simply use the following syntax, that is df from the starting till the end row. And if you also want to extract the specific row and column using ILOC indexer, we can do this thing also. So its syntax is df.iloc. Again, this is row 1, row 2, or whatever be the row is which we want to extract. Similarly, the column 1, column 2 and column 3, we can extract the columns according to it. Okay. Now the next thing is slicing based upon the labels. See, we did extraction till now on the basis of the rows and the columns. Okay, it may be basis of the range, or it may be based upon some specific row or column. But now if you want to extract the data on the basis of the labels, so let's check how we can do this. So besides extracting rows and the columns using row and column numbers, we can extract them by label values. See, label is actually been representing index only. So as we have seen that we can specify index in data frames from our side also. By default, it has been indexed from 0 to the values till the table has been created. Okay, but we can do the labeling by ourselves also. So here we are specifying things with the help of label. For example, let's consider one code that extracts a range of rows using the index values. Okay, and which is date time index type. Okay, so let's consider a code and then we will understand how it performs. Alright, so here it is. Again, we are taking the same code, that means these lines are all same. Then what we are doing here is days equal to pd dot date underscore range. Here we are giving a date, that is 2019, 6th month and the day 1, and periods is of 10. Okay, so we are taking a range of date. This is the syntax or the format of giving a date in data frame. Okay, so we are just want a range of dates from this 01 to 10. Okay, because we are giving the periods here as 10. So the date will start from the 01 and it will end till the 10. Okay. Then what we are doing is we are assigning all these values to days. Okay, these range values assigning to days. Then this days is been assigned to df.index. So the index value of this data frame has been assigned with the days values. Okay, then we are printing the complete data frame here. Okay, and then we are printing the range values from the date, that is 2019-06-01 to 2019-06-03. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here it is. This is the complete data frame and we can see that this is the label values. Okay, now what we did, we want to print the range from 01 to 03 for the label. So here it is. These are respectively the values for it. Okay, so we can do this with the help of labels also. Now we can use LOC indexer also for this performance. Okay, so how to use LOC? Let's consider one more code. Okay, so the code is all same. There is no change except the last line. In the previous code, we are using df and we are giving the range values. Here we are giving LOC. So df.loc and then we are giving the range values, that means from 01 to 03 for the respective date. Okay, so let's save this code again and run this code. Alright, the output is all same, there is no change. So we can, the terminology has been changed, but the output will remain the same. We are using LOC here. Alright, with the help of LOC indexer, it is mandatory if you want to extract the columns using their values. Let's consider one example. If you want to access the columns also, respective columns. So how it can be performed, let's consider one more code. Okay, so we are doing this task with the help of LOC. Okay, so here it is. Alright, all the code is same, just consider the last line, that is print df.loc. Again, the range of the label values is from 01 to the 03. Okay, and then we are extracting the columns from A to C. Okay, in the previous example we haven't extracted about only the column values, we just did for all the rows. Okay, but here we want to extract according to the columns also. Okay, and here we are using loc. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Here's the output, only from A to C column values has been printed. The column D has been eliminated. Okay, we haven't mentioned the column D here. Okay, but if you want to do this thing with the help of df only and without loc, so let's consider this code again. Okay, and just implement it here, and just we are removing the loc part. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Okay, so obviously there is an error. So I have already told about the warning that you need to do or include loc in your code if you want to print the column values. Unlike slicing by number, that means where start and end means extracting the row from the start, and end means we are not including it, but the previous value of the end has been included. This is the meaning of slicing. We can also extract the specific columns. So how we can do this thing? Let's consider a code. See, in the previous code we did extract a range of columns. Now if you want to extract specific columns, so how to perform this task? Let's consider this code and implement it here. Okay, now again the code is all same, just consider the last line, that is print df.loc. We are giving a range of the labels here, that means 01 to 03, and then we are specifying column A and column C. That means we are not giving a range in the columns here, just only specification. Why? Because A and C are separated by comma. In the previous example, A and C are separated by the colon, so it's a range thing. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here it is. Only A and C columns are printed with respect to the label values from 01 to 03. Okay. Now if you want to extract a specific row, we can do this with the help of Loc Indexer again. So let's consider this code. The code is all same. Just consider the last line again, df.loc, and we are just giving a single label. Okay, that is the 01. Okay, and we just want to print its value. So let's save this code and run this code. So here it is. Only the label 01 value has been printed for each and every column. So A, B, C, D, these are the column values for the label 1. Okay, these values has been printed here. Okay, so it's quite clear. Now, if you want to extract specific rows with the date and time as an index, we can simply pass the date value to the Loc Indexer as follows. Okay, so again we just want to extract specific rows. Now there is some other alternative option also to perform this task. So what is the option? Let's consider one more code and then we will check how it works. Alright, so here it is. All the code remains same except the last line. We just want to access the specific values of the rows. Okay, so the last line we are writing print df.loc and we are giving the label of 01, that means 2019-0601, and the label 3, that is 2019-0603. So we just want to print the values of these two rows. So let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here it is. It's quite easy and simple. Alright, we can also convert the date into datetime format. Okay, so how we can do this thing? Let's consider another code and check what is the output. The code remains same till here for the two lines, and the next line what I'm doing is from date time I'm importing date time. Okay, so we need to import this thing. Then again here the code is same, that means we are creating the data frame, then we are creating the labels, days, and we are assigning its value to the index, and then we are printing the value of data frame. Now the thing is, we are declaring a variable date1, its value is datetime. 2019, 6 is the 2019, this is the year, 6 is the month, and 1 is the day. Then we are not giving anything in the time. Again, date 2 we are declaring another variable, and date time we are giving the date as 2019 year, 6 is the month, 3 is the day, and nothing in the time. Okay, and then we are printing the value of df.loc, date1 and the date 2. Okay, so instead of giving the date, we are using here datetime method. Okay, and according to it we are printing. Okay, so it's another technique to print the value of specific rows. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. So here's the complete data frame, and here is the value of row 1 and the value of row 3, or I just say the label 1 and the label 3. Okay, so yes, we are using datetime here. Now if you want to again specific row and specific column, so we can extract it as follows. That means we are again using datetime method here, but we also include the column extraction along with the rows. So how it can be done? Let's consider the code again. It's all same, and in the last line itself, we just consider the last line, print df.loc date1. So date1 obviously, so this is the date1. Okay, we have already mentioned it. So it will print your row, that is, or according to the label 01. Okay, and then in this we are specifying columns also, A and C. That means it will print A column and C column for the respective label of date 1. Okay, so let's save this code and run this code. Alright, so here it is. That's it. Only A and C are printed for date 1. Okay, so in the previous example we are printing all the columns, that means A, B, C, D all for the label 01 and the 03, that means for the 2 rows. But here we are printing 1 row only, and only the specific columns A and C. Alright, so we can see that in the just previous example there is only a single specified date, so result is obviously a series. So when we are getting a single results, okay, with respect to, or we are just extracting a single row, so obviously we are getting a series, and we are extracting more than one row, then we are getting a data frame. Okay, so in order to summarize all these things, we can extract a range of rows by using their labels also. We can simply use a format, that means df start label and the end label. We can also extract the specific rows and the columns with the help of Loc Indexer also. For that we will use the syntax, that is df.loc, that is row 1 label, row 2 label, and similarly for the column 1 label, column 2 label, and so on. So we can do the extraction with the help of these syntax. This is all for this tutorial based on the data frames extraction. We will come up with more informative tutorials on Pandas. Thanks for watching. Kindly do subscribe to my channel.